Good evening and welcome back. I'm Teddy, and you are listening to Night Talk. So come on in, grab a glass of wine, and join me. Well, tonight's D is for defense. Analyze this mess because somebody has to say it. Shout out to the mob. All my other bears, I call the Grizzlies and the Honey Bears. Please hit the like on your way in. So tonight, we bring it back to the one word that this entire legal battle and everything it's uncovered hinges on. Defense? I don't know. Not the excuses, not the evasion, not the late night filings, trying to rewrite history. I'm talking about my defense of truth, a process, of my name, my work, and my right to speak out. See, defense isn't just a legal term, it's a stance, it's a posture. It's what you take when you know you're under attack, but you refuse to back down. And when the attacks keep coming, mhm, that's defense. The defense gets sharper, stronger, and smarter. So tonight, let's examine not just what I've defended, but why. And more importantly, what those desperate attempts to chip away at it really say about who's on the other side. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? But first, let me look at the chat real quick and see who might be in the bear cave tonight. I see my moderators. My moderators, Baby Juju and Vicky Black. Right at the bottom, Sean Still Smoking, Love Wins. Here in the bear cave. Hello, hello, and good evening and welcome. Those of you who are in the bushes, I know you're there. Some of you. who just come by and, just hang out and, see what's going on over here with Unwind with Teddy. Yeah, we're here. And yes, I'm still talking about D4s. Okay. So it is 10 o'clock exactly, and it is June the 11th, 10 o'clock at night. So again, we bring it back to that one word. I know I'm the plaintiff, but I'm talking about things that I've had to do to defend my name. Okay? I have a right to defend my name. This case was never about revenge. It's about reclaiming dignity. D for dignity. After sustained, targeted, and often, well, it's been more or less anonymous abuse, but there's been abuse that has not been anonymous. There have been others who are known, who have been part of the abuse. But right now, I'm focused on the one individual. Though I've named, I named um, the defendant and other names. I've also put Jane Doe's 1 through 10. Yes. Strangely enough, though, I can't. John showed up first. Okay. So, truth is the strongest defense. I've talked about that before. But just to zero, in on it, hone in on it. Everything I've submitted, from screenshots to statements to service records, is rooted in verifiable fact. I can't help but say it once more. That's not slander. That's documentation. Mhm. Verifiable facts, Mhm. which can be challenged, sure. But again, they are verifiable. I've followed the court's orders. Unlike, well, I've abided by every directive. I didn't file out of turn. I didn't flood the docket with distractions. Yeah. You might say, well, how can that be part of a defense? I'm talking about, again, my voice, my name, my right to my filings. But I didn't file out of turn. I didn't flood the docket with distractions. I'll say that again. That's discipline. That's defense done right. Defense is not the same as retaliation. Some people might think of that word, when you think of defense. That it's not the same. I mentioned this the other night. The phrase, I bullied the bully, it might sound edgy, but it doesn't hold up in federal court. This isn't a tit for tat. This is evidence versus evasion. Evidence versus evasion. And the strongest defense for me right now it does include boundaries, for which I've spoken about. So you might hear me saying things different days, but certainly there can be some overlap. Okay. But setting boundaries, when people cross lines, personal lines, legal or ethical, setting boundaries for myself, it isn't aggression. It's protection. It's smart. It's necessary, especially now. I reiterate, I've submitted the receipts from the CCB filings. Mhm. I haven't talked much about the details. I haven't read my case online. But some of the receipts do include the CCB filings, mhm, to the registered agent, proof, mhm, to her own live streams, that my defense isn't built on assumption. It's built on what she said and did on camera and on record. Okay. Those CCB filings, it wasn't just the two that I've included. There were others, but it was used as a tactic. She said it in her own words. It was captured in her video. It was used as a paper trail. I've talked about that around the CCBs. Mhm. She talked about how it was used against me, against videos that I had played and that were struck. Not because they were copyright, but just to keep them down, just to slow things down, just for a paper trail, nothing more. Abuse of the copyright system. You know, I heard someone today. Who is it? I might have been listening to someone's video. I heard someone mention, I'll just say, they mentioned something about copyright strikes. Okay. A number of the copyright strikes that were made against me, it wasn't at all because I had anything in there. I'm talking about nothing at all. Not one word, not one picture. But I was struck. So when I heard this person say, who was it? That she will strike you or you can be struck for one word. That's true. But this individual struck, I don't know about other people, but she struck my videos by impersonating. This is just one of the ways, many ways, by impersonation. Okay. So it wasn't even something that they could claim. One of the most recent strikes, I'm not talking about like Instagram or other social media, I'm talking about here on YouTube. Mhm. When she impersonated or used an alias, Whitney Jamison, which I didn't include that. Why did I include Whitney Jamison? And she struck making claims of the thumbnail. She claimed the artwork. She even claimed my avatar. This is not the only time that my avatar was claimed, the one you see there. By impersonating a an author, a best book selling New York number one, you know, author. So that was not because I was using something. So let's not forget, it's not just because a person might use a portion of her clip. If she decides that she just simply wants to strike your channel, she can strike it for no reason, just because. But a number of the reasons came through aliases and impersonations. She said that avatar belonged to her. So I can just imagine that she was planning, this because at the time, multiple of my videos went down. So she was thinking, looking like, wow, all right, I can't strike Unwind with Teddy. Not because she's playing my videos anymore. What can I strike her on? So she creates this and says, aha, because she's always plotting and planning to take a channel down if she wants to. Okay. And that's how she did it. She filled out the copyright claim form and she said her legal name was Sybil. Miss Sabette. Just filled it out. It took me some time to fight that. But in the meantime, wherever I had that picture, she just went down. Boom, 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 boom. Just strike after strike after strike after strike. Certainly, I didn't expect to wake up one morning and find that my channel had been struck. I'm like, I don't have anything on my channel. I had been taking all kinds of precautions. I had removed anything that I thought was strikeable that she would go after. No. Okay. So with Whitney Jamison, she said that avatar, she created the artwork. She described it. She said you know, African American woman or black woman with the fro, with the afro, and the artwork of that robot, she said. It was her thumbnail. I had to, respond to it. In the meantime, my channels went down. This is how she operates. So it doesn't just have to be use of any of her uh, video. 1 second. It could be nothing. She could just, you know, decide that she wants to slow you down. She can just decide that she wants your channel down. This is her tactic. If you become her target, mhm, and that's how she wants, and that's one of the ways that she goes after people. It is in the playbook. It's by filing fraudulent, false strikes, not just the name of her channel. Sometimes she does that. Sometimes she just, you know, puts an alias. She has used multiple aliases, multiple email addresses. Okay. That's just how it's carried out. Okay. So, again, when I talk about the CCB filings, once YouTube made that available, it used to just be a time where if someone struck the channel, they would have to file, a lawsuit in federal court. Well, one of the other ways that they can file is through the Copyright Claims Board. Mhm. That's another process that is open up. And that's what she had been using most recently to file. And those filings were filled out with an address, with a name. Mhm. She said her legal name. And now the defense is, well, that's not my address, or that's not my registered agent, or I left there, or, it's just a lot of, you know, when it was convenient, you know, when it was used as a way to create a paper trail, then it worked. Mhm. But if I use that as evidence of abuse and where she has, used the filings in her name, she disavows them. Mhm. But it's on record. Mhm. That's what I mean when I say my defense isn't built on assumptions, defense explanations, talking about or answering to the court. Mhm. It's on camera, it's on the record. Filing, by the way, unauthorized responses, that isn't a defense. No, it's a delay tactic. Because a real defense follows the rules. An insecure defendant tries to change them mid game when the facts aren't on their side. Yeah. The deeper I dug, the more I uncovered. I haven't talked about all of that, but the more I've come across, the more I see. What she wanted hidden. But it's bringing things to light. Mhm. No, I'm not going to give the details of that one area. Not now. But there are patterns that I can see. And the more I'm looking and the deeper I've dug into these evidence that I have, the more I see. That's what I'm talking about, digging into. Okay. And yes, I do have video evidence. A lot of it. A lot of it that I don't even know what I don't know yet. Okay. I have a lot of, not just video. I have a lot of screenshots. I have a lot of other things. Mhm. Media. Those things, again, that she wanted hidden. Mhm. So when I talk about D for defense again, it really isn't just for me. I've said that too. It's for anyone who's been silenced, because if you've ever had your name dragged, your work stolen, or your voice suppressed, then this fight, that I'm in, this stand that I'm taking, this defense, and I'm talking about my name, my reputation, what I've worked for. Mhm. It's it's yours too if you've been a part of that. Mhm. Because there is some overlapping, but then there's some things that are uniquely my own as well. Okay? So, D for defense. Analyze this mess, because somebody has to say it, and I'm saying it. I can't believe I've been on for half an hour. It's just about 10:25. Mhm. Now I will pause like I normally do around this, 25, 30 minutes, and then come out, take a look around, and see if there's any comments that I want to read, or anything else that I, think that I want to say, talk about. Mhm. You can also email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. Of course, there's lots and lots that I could say, and you never know what I'm going to say or how I'm going to say it. Yes, D for dirty deletes. D for dirty deletes. I I wish I could. you know the contents all in one swoop, but I can't, It takes time. Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. Someone said to the judge, "Oh, she's deleted. She's deleted all these videos. She has all, you know." Um, instead of being honest and saying that videos were struck, yeah, I thought they had hundreds of videos. That's what they posted. Remember, they said they have hundreds of my videos as evidence. But all I see is, videos that I've been, creating recently, since they showed up. Like my D4 videos or pictures of the clock or something like that. Yeah, they said they recorded hundreds. Play them. Where are they? Uh-huh. What? It's my work. You think I'm going to run away from my work? I'm not. No. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm not. But I can also see even things that I've done recently and things that I've said, they can be, distorted, twisted. Yeah. No. Certain things I cannot control. Yeah, there's just certain things I can't. Yeah. Mhm. But dirty deletes, I have receipts. Mhm. Yeah, I do. I just don't know everything that I have. And yeah. But again, it's not, putting in everything. It's a measured response. Yeah, I'm not just, you know, just throwing things in just because. No, part of the defense of my name and things that I've seen that are being said. Mm-mm. Yeah. I am not the defendant. I am the plaintiff. I am not the defendant. I am the plaintiff. I am the one who filed this lawsuit. Mhm. I am the one who filed it. Yeah, I could say more. Yes, false copyright strikes. And that's part of my complaint. Mhm. Fraudulent. Mhm. The first um, I think it might have been the first or second day after I filed my lawsuit. I think I'd have to look on a video, but I did read the very first page of the 83 pages of the complaint. Mhm. Yeah, I did that. I think, yeah, just the first page. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's see if I can pull it up. Why not? And I will read it again. If I can pull up here. Because there are probably some of you who have never heard what my complaints, or what's part of the complaint. Yeah. So I will share that first page again. I'm trying to pull it up. Or it's actually page 6 of 83. I read the statement of the claim, and I did read the first page, which was this: in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan, Sabrina Evans, plaintiff versus the defendants, Jane Doe, also known as Daniel Robertson, Danny Robertson, Danny Montana, Truth Teller Danny, Lori Davis, Danielle Robertson, LLC, Jane Doe's 1 through 10. Okay, the case was assigned to the Honorable Judith Levy. The case number is 524 CV 13435. The date it was filed was December the 23rd of 2024. Okay. And I go to page 6. Which asks initially for me to write a short and plain statement of the claim. Let's see if I did include that. I'll read you what I read to my audience. The nature of the case: this federal lawsuit arises from a sustained campaign by the defendant Daniel Robertson to harm the plaintiff Sabrina Evans through copyright infringement, defamation, harassment, privacy violations, and cyberbullying. Since 2022, the defendant has repeatedly violated the plaintiff's rights by unlawfully using copyrighted material and filing fraudulent copyright claims, primarily through impersonation, to commit fraud and damage the plaintiff's YouTube channels, Unwind with Teddy and Run Tell That Too. These actions have caused significant harm to the plaintiff's reputation, emotional well being, and professional career. Plaintiffs Sabrina Evans bring this action against Jane Doe, also known as Danielle Robertson, Danny Robertson, Danny Montana, Truth Teller Danny, Lori Davis, and Danielle Robertson LLC. The complaint reserves the right to amend to include additional defendants identified as Jane Doe's 1 through 10. These placeholders represent individuals or entities whose identities and roles are currently unknown but believed to be involved in the alleged actions. This lawsuit seeks to hold Danielle Robertson accountable, secure compensation for damages, and obtain injunctive relief to prevent further harm. Count 1, copyright infringement. Count 2, defamation and privacy violations. Count 3, false reports and fraudulent claims. Count 4, cyberbullying and harassment. Count 5, impersonation of others to commit fraud. Count 6, conspiracy to commit fraud and cause emotional distress. I read 2 pages. But just in case there are some, and I know I've seen some questions out there. People don't even have a clue. They don't know the background. They don't know the backstory. They just don't even know. And I don't expect everyone to know. Why would I? But inside of the complaint, there are facts to support the claim for each of the counts 1 through 6. And there are additional things that are being filed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yes, I do talk about deep fake pornography too. Mm-hmm. Someone said you haven't talked about that. Did you include? I haven't read my entire complaint, but it's there too. Mm-hmm. So now you know at least a little bit more. Yeah. Because it's June? And I filed in December, end of December, basically. It's been almost 6 months. Almost 6 months. Yeah. Since I filed. The 23rd of this month will be 6 months. And I'm still, it's a process, and I'm not, I'm in a really important phase point right now that I'm waiting, and it's important. But I read that to remind folks, I am the plaintiff in this lawsuit. Now people can file their own. But I have no intention of presenting anything or writing anything where I cannot back it up and it's not factual to the best of my ability. I'm not here to distort the record and just create things and pull things out of the sky. No, I didn't tell everybody what my plan was and how I was going to approach this. Yeah. It's unfolding though. And we'll just have to wait and see. But I do have rights to, if I want to. Everyone can deal with their own case in their own way or whatever. If I want to, talk about this case, I can. I haven't even read the complaint. I haven't talked about the filings on the other side, really. I've talked about a little bit, I showed John Doe's, first, I think it was the first one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But there have been, many more since that. Yeah. When I combine, and I haven't counted it up yet, between Jane Doe, John Doe, let's see. Oh, we're probably approaching 300 pages. I'm just going to, because I can just, it's easy for me to say that because it's 170 pages plus another 29 pages just for 2 filings from Jane Doe. Yeah, she came as Jane Doe first, but now Danielle. So that's 200. And, John Doe, he's filed multiple times, and so has Jane Doe. Okay. So I'm just thinking it's approaching 300, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And I think I've read less than 4 or 5 pages, maybe. So there's a lot. There's a lot being said and shown. Okay. Lots of exhibits, lots of filings, briefs, objections, supplemental filings, motions, Um, yeah, it's a lot. And I've had my own too. Now, my complaint total was 83. My recent response that I'm waiting to hear on, that was more than my complaint. It was 120 pages. Mhm. Yeah. But it was a lot of documentation that I needed, to include, to respond. So my brief, I mean, really, like the brief itself was 25 pages. And the balance, 95 pages, I've said this, would include declarations and exhibits and that kind of thing. Yeah. Hey, I see Annette says nobody can be you but you. What the dirty, low, down dirty. Have a great weekend. I know it's like tomorrow's Thursday. I know it goes fast. Mhm. Yeah. So if I've filed that many pages, okay, you can at least double the number of receipts. I'm talking about real receipts that I have. Not made up. Mm-mm. There's, it's just too much. There's a lot that I don't even know. Yeah. Mhm. I'm just talking about me. There's a there's a pattern here. There's a history. Yeah. But it has to be done in order. Yeah. So, anyone else? I see Sharon out there. Let me see. Latoya. Oh, Love Wins. I didn't notice this. A member for 18 months, Miss Teddy. That's right. You are defending your dignity and character. D for diligence. Thank you. You have so many receipts to prove the harm caused to you. Some are just painful, but they're necessary. Mhm. Some I didn't even want to review or look at, really, but I did. Just face it. Yeah, some of it's very painful. Mhm. Yeah. Oh, last night, have you missed it? Yeah, I sang a little song, I guess. I, d- I listened to my video this morning as um, I did the meltdown, which was the first part, and I listened to the second part. And I cut the second part into two parts, and I've, pulled those aside for, video clips or whatever. And it was interesting. I wanted to know. I did for myself. I said, okay, I'm going to run this through AI and see what what kind of feedback that I got on it. And it was surprising. hmm It was really a story I was telling. hmm And there were different emotions that I went through when I was telling it. That AI picked up. hmm That was really deep. hmm Yeah, telling you, one of those receipts, sir, is really. And I called it "I Have to Wait." That's what I'll call that song, or whatever, the ones that came out that I was singing. I call it "I Have to Wait." Yeah, parts one, parts two. Anything else? Who's out there? Who's making chicken soup tonight? Did I see somebody say something about they're in the kitchen making chicken soup? I was like scrolling through real fast and I thought I saw something. Let's see. We got Cups of Conversations tonight back with us. Hope you're doing well. Hey. hmm Yep. Who's cooking chick? You know what? I thought it was soup. All right. Okay. Love Wind says Latoya Woods is cooking chicken. All right. And I want some too. All right. Yeah. You are making chicken soup. All right. Nothing wrong with that. Good pot of soup. Yeah. I like to cook. Yeah. Although I haven't been cooking a whole lot lately, but I'm going to get there again. Yeah. Y'all know I'm having some work done and it's just about finished. Sharon says, I had a chili dog. All right. A coney. Some of the best, you know, Coney Islands, and of course, New York, I guess, if you go there, but Chicago. I love that city. I I almost moved to Chicago. I loved it that much. Yeah. But Chicago for me, it's like less than 4 hours or 4 hours away. hmm Yeah. Yeah. I love that city. It's more and more. It's fantastic city. Really, I like it. hmm And every year things, get more and more expensive. Yeah. And every city, major city, has its own imprint. The way people are, what they're known for. Um, you know, a certain grit, I guess you could say. Yeah. Chicago, Detroit. LA. I mean, you can just go. You can just go all across this country. New York, Washington. I'm talking about like the big cities, you know, or at least the ones that people like to map out. St. Louis, Houston. I mean, we can just go all over the South, the Southern, that belt in the South. That's a totally different. It is. But the South is beautiful. Yeah. I like the South too. What is this? I'm here for work, flying back tomorrow. You're in New York. Love wins. Hey, I'm in New York. I had pizza. It was delicious. Uh, Adrian's Pizza Bar on Stone Street in Manhattan. Or some people say Manhattan. Right? There's different ways I've heard it pronounced. Yeah, I'm not from New York, but I guess. Yeah. New York. I've been there multiple times. Yeah. And I've never seen a real like Broadway show. That's hard to believe, but I haven't. Mm-mm. Yeah. That would definitely be on my bucket list. I need to do that. New Yorkers. Yeah. Fast pace. High price. Yeah. You want to talk about some of the rudest drivers? This is my impression. Boston. You talk about some rude folks that are drivers. This is my only my impression. I was there for several weeks. Bostonians. Wow. They like, wow. And I'm from the Motor City, so it's like I know how to drive. But I tell you, people in Boston, at least some of them, but Boston is beautiful. So let me not date Boston with this drivers, okay? Boston is a beautiful city. I've got some great memories there too, and it's really lovely. Hmm. I do like Boston. Yeah, yeah, I do. There's a certain feeling you get. Yeah, yeah. There's Ivy Leaguers there. MIT. All of it. Yeah, it's nice. Our entire country is nice, you know? Yes, I am a proud American. And yes, why not be one? Mhm. I am a citizen of this country. Yes, I am. What else? Before I leave, what's this? Yeah, I agree. The pizza in the north is much better than the ones in the south. Yeah. But I would I would think people in the south, they're gonna say some of the best home cooking isn't there's nothing like southern cooking. And yeah. So I'm sure they have us on that. But pizza, yeah, pizza. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I guess you know what? We probably think of our pizza as something. I guess if you went to Italy, and I have not been to Italy, um, but they would say this Americanized pizza. They think they have real pizza. I bet that's what they say. You know, yeah. Italians are really great cooks. Mhm. They are. Yeah, they put those Italian women, the real ones. They spend hours and hours just preparing the pasta, the sauces. Yeah. If you've ever, taken the time to, explore other, you know, the way people cook, it's just, food is one thing that can bring people together. Food and music and art. Um, that's something we all can, you know, share. And I've never had a problem talking to someone um, about their, the food that they cook or their ethnicity when it comes to, food and music and that and art. They're always willing to talk about it because they're proud. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, isn't it? Yes, Southern home cooking is the best. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood for now. I'm always, I've told people, you know, you might hear me just for a few minutes. I might just, but typically my presence, who I am not a Debbie Downer or anything like that. Now somebody out there is going to say, "Oh, my name is Debbie." No, that's just a phrase, okay? I'm not getting on a person. If your name is Debbie, you don't have to be a downer. That's just a phrase. So please don't twist that. Oh my goodness. What did I say that for? I need to quit. It's 11 o'clock. It's 11:03. I'm done for tonight. Hello, D for Debbie. That's right. I didn't even think about that. D for Debbie. That's right. That's a name you don't hear that much, is it? Deborah. Debbie is short for uh, Deborah, isn't it? Mhm. Oh boy, can I say something funny right now? But I'm not. Oh yeah, just something crossed my mind about different names. But I will table it for now. Yeah, and yeah, I have a sense of humor. There, nothing wrong with that. I don't think it can be dry, but it's my sense of humor. Thanks to my moderators, Baby Juju and Vicky Black. Join me sometime tomorrow. But now it's time to say goodnight. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the grizzlies and the honey bears. Um, yeah, on your way out, give me a thumbs up. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Yeah, good night.